Okay, let's graph a cotangent function. This is very similar to the idea that we had for graphing a tangent function. So first thing, find two consecutive asymptotes. So our formulas here are going to be b of t is equal to 0 and b of t is equal to pi. Again, finding our x-intercept, that's a midpoint between our asymptote. So midpoint of asymptotes. Find a point on each side of the x-intercept and sketch one period. This time we're going to go down A on the right of the midpoint. And we're going to go up A on the left of the midpoint. And that's going to give us our decreasing graph, which is a cotangent graph. And then if we have space, we're going to put a period on the left and the right, or fill out the specified interval. So let's take a look at our first example. So we have y is equal to 2 times the cotangent of t over 2. So that means our a value is 2 and our b value is 1/2. So let's find our asymptotes. So we're going to have 1/2 of t is equal to 0. So multiply both sides by 2. We get t is equal to 0. Our second asymptote, 1/2 t, is equal to pi. Again, multiply both sides by 2. T is equal to 2 pi. So you can tell from the original function whose period is pi, when your b value is 1/2, you're going to double your period. So we're now going from 0 to 2 pi. Let's just go ahead and find our midpoint. Well, midpoint between 0 and 2 pi is pi. So our x-intercept is going to be pi 0. And then to find two other points, well, let's sketch all this information on the graph first, and then it'll be easier to find those points. Okay. So let's put in our scale. Since we need to go to 2 pi, I'm going to split this. Here's pi, and then here's 2 pi. Same thing in the negative direction. And our scale, our amplitude, or a value, which is not the amplitude, goes to 2. So we need from 2 to negative 2. Okay. Let's put in our asymptotes. We said we had an asymptote at 0. We also have an asymptote at 2 pi. And now you can visually see from the middle, or from our graph, where the middle is and where our x-intercept is going to be. So that's at pi. Now this time, when we go over to the right, we're going to go down our a value, which will be negative 2. And we look to the left of our midpoint, we're going to go up 2, and that's how we get our decreasing graph. Okay, let's go ahead, since we have the other half of the graph, let's just go ahead and put in another period. So, oops, we're going to have an asymptote at negative 2 pi. Negative. Our midpoint is going to be at negative pi. When we go to the right, we'll go down 2. Go to the left, we'll go up 2. And then sketch in our decreasing graph. Okay, and there's a graph of our function.